Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about how I think that it's like a huge detriment that we're like conditioned to like not fail in school. Because I feel like the most successful people, like even people that are like widely like despised, you know, like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, like these people like they've been like failing upwards their entire lives. And I think like most people could like learn something from that, even if these people like aren't role models, right? Um, and it's like, what do I mean? Like, so in school, like a 0 to a 60%, the gap from like that, like failing grade is way larger from like a 60% to a 100%. Like, that's something a teacher of mine in like high school told me. And, yeah, no, I just think that's like really messed up, right? Because it's like, how can you ever be expected to like learn and grow if you're just so expected to like be perfect all the time, right? Like, I don't know, at least when I was growing up, like, my school is like hyper competitive, right? They just wanted us to be super perfect, like everyone have to have perfect grades and stuff like that. And it's like, I think it's good to hold yourself to a high standard, don't get me wrong, but it becomes an issue when you're trying to learn a new skill or push yourself to like mastery in a certain skill. Like, what are you going to do when you run into an obstacle, right? Are you going to push past it, or are you going to like get embarrassed because you're no longer pulling those like 90% marks anymore? And are you just going to quit because you're just like, okay, I'm not good at this anymore, it's time to quit? And it's like, I think it just says something, because it's like at the end of the day, it's not natural to get perfect marks all the time. It's not natural to be perfect. Like the whole concept of perfection just isn't real. But it's what society kind of like trains us to, you know, strive for. I think that's highly problematic, because I don't know. It's at least that's something I've noticed, is trying to like unlearn this like societal conditioning, because you can't, it doesn't exist, right? It's like, how can you be expected to grow in this way? I mean, and I understand it. You know, you wanna impress people, you wanna look good in front of others, but at the end of the day, like, how are you ever going to get to where you want to be if you're so like addicted to impressing people and all these like arbitrary metrics of perfection? I don't know. It's like that quote, like, you know, LeBron has more air balls than anyone else, right? But he also, I mean, obviously he has like more points than anyone else. I don't know if he actually has more points, but he's no, he's up there. And it's like, do you think like LeBron cares about his like field goal percentage, his like 3-point percentage? Like, no, these are like artificial metrics for like stat patterns. And like, I would argue like even like UFC fighters with like perfect records probably don't care about that stuff. It's probably like their management team or something. Like, I don't know, because it looks good externally, but in terms of like actually growing, I feel like it's so dumb to like actually pad your stats and like just try to look good for the sake of like external validation. Because it's like, what do you care more about? You care of looking good, or you care about being good? Ideally you'd have both, but what's more important if you had to choose one? um yeah, no, just something I thought about, because it's like, I don't know, you don't really have to worry about this at a young age, but when you go out into the real world, you're no longer just having your hand held all the time when you're learning new skills and when you're developing yourself as a person. Like, now you have more freedom about how you're going to structure your life, structure your days. Like, at least for me, like, my life was kind of figured out for me. I went to school like 8 hours a day. I came home and played Minecraft. You know, now I don't know, I'm on summer break. I don't really do shit. So I'm just like, okay, this is interesting. I need to now decide how I'm going to self-teach myself how to code and all these things that were previously instructed. But it's weird, because I'm learning all these complex, you know, like programming languages that like didn't even exist when I was a kid, and also they didn't teach in school. And also it's like, I don't know. It's interesting, because it's the way you learn things on your own and in the real world is so different from the way they teach you them in school. And it just, I don't know, it gives me a lot of gripes with how they teach things in school, because it's like they always want you to get perfect marks. You're expected to not fail, but it's like, if you can't fail and try new things, like, how can you play perfectly? Like, I don't know, it reminds me when I was like, I was scared to queue up in League of Legends, because like I wanted to have like a good win rate and I was scared of losing. I had a friend that would play nonstop all day, and I asked him if he was scared of losing. He said, "What? Losing? I'll just queue up again." And you know, that guy, he hit rank 1. That guy hit rank 1. And I think that says something. Like, I don't know. I mean, he never ended up going pro. He was gonna go pro at one point, but I just think like it's interesting because I was so conditioned by school to like avoid embarrassing myself, avoid like the public shame of looking bad in front of others. You know, I wanted the external, the stat padding and all this that. This guy didn't care. You know, he played for repetition. He played for mastery. You know, he honestly, and he didn't do everything perfectly. I was so scared of doing things wrong, building bad habits. Like, you know, I didn't know. I was always second guessing myself. This guy did not give a fuck. He built so many bad habits and he just corrected them later. This is the thing too. Like, school always teaches you to do things the right way. And the thing I think you realize when you get older is there is no right way to do things. Like when you're learning physics in school, right? They always say like assume optimal conditions, right? Assume no friction, assume no air resistance, assume this, assume that. Dude, that's not the real world, right? In the real world, if you're an engineer or whatever, you're gonna have budget constraints. You're gonna have a lack of resources. You're gonna be, bro. Like my last job, they made me do my project without internet. Can you imagine? Like I had to code without internet. It was outrageous. But and that's just a real thing. You know, in the real world, you are gonna be expected to do something, and you're only gonna have half of the resources you need to actually do it. It's like, okay, good luck. They didn't teach you this in school. You are now going to need to figure it out. And it's like, you weren't taught how to do this in school, but you know, you're on the job, you're getting paid, figure it out. And it's like, okay. I mean, it's not like failure is not an option because, you know, you're human. It's not like you're going to die if you fuck this up, but it's also like you want to get paid. You want to do good by your company, but it's like, I don't know, man. I think it's ridiculous that school always assumes optimal conditions. They don't give you project-based learning. They're just like, oh yeah, no, this is the easiest thing for us to teach. And honestly, all our teachers are so bad at what they do, they couldn't really teach you how to do anything else anyways. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to assume optimal conditions for everything. And you know, if you don't get a 100% on this, then you're a failure and you're never going to make it. Like what? I don't know. I think the limitations of the school system are very apparent once you reach the real world to any capacity. Yeah, I don't know. I think I could ramble on for an hour, but I think that's all I really wanted to cover. And yeah, see you later.